Shwmae. This video covers Uned 11 of the Mynediad course. In this Uned, you have learned how to say that you had something to eat and drink.
There are two options introduced in your coursebook to say I had, which are Casey and Gacy. In the Swansea Carmarthenshire region, we tend to use the second option, Gacy. You may find this useful when it comes to creating questions and negative sentences, as we don't need to think about mutations. You're more than welcome to use the first option, Casey, but we'll be using the G version in this revision video.
Iawn te, Dr. Gramadeg. Beth ges ti I frecwast? What did you have for breakfast? Beth ges ti I frecwast?
Ges I dost ac wy I frecwast.
There's a lovely soft mutation after Gacy. It's the same one which occurs after other patterns, such as bwytais I fysgien and yfodd e goffi. You may have seen in previous units that the object, like coffee, mutates after a short form verb like bwytais I, yfodd e, cerddon I, and so on.
Back to Gacy. I really want to know what you had for lunch. Beth yw lunch or dinner? Cinio. Beth ges ti I ginio? What did you have for lunch? Be ges ti I ginio?
Ges I gawl a bara I ginio. Beth am swper? Beth ges ti I swper? What did you have for supper? Beth ges ti I swper?
Dwi ddim yn gallu cofio. I can't remember. Ges I swper yn y dafarn.
Swper yn y dafarn. Gyda phwy?
Gyda David.
Beth gaeth David yn y dafarn?
Gath e wyn coch.
Hyfryd. If you noticed, to ask what David had, I used beth gaeth David as opposed to beth gafodd David. Again, both options are perfectly acceptable. We will be using the second option for all patterns in this uned.
Carys, es ti i'r caffi ddo? Did you go to the cafe yesterday? Es ti i'r caffi ddo?
Do, es I i'r caffi gyda Rhian.
Beth gath Rhian I fwyta yn y caffi? What did Rhian have to eat in the caffi? Beth gath Rhian I fwyta yn y caffi?
Gaeth hi frechdan gaws I fwyta.
Gaethoch chi baned o de? Did you have a cup of tea? Gaethoch chi baned o de?
Do, gaeth Rhian baned o Earl Grey a ges I baned o de gwyrdd.
Te gwyrdd? A fi. Dwi ddim yn hoffi te gwyrdd. Anyway, did you notice the yes used with the closed question? Did you have a cup of tea? Gaethoch chi baned o de? Do.
As with es ti, did you go? Ges ti, did you have? And other past tense questions like fwytais ti, did you eat, as you've seen in previous units, we use do and naddo for our yes and no in the past. It doesn't matter who you're referring to in the past. The reply is always do or naddo. You also learned how to say we and they had things other than food and drink, like an email, e-bost, a message, neges, a letter, llythyr.
Gaethon ni e-bost ddoe. We had an email yesterday. Gaethon ni e-bost ddoe.
Neges. Gaethon ni neges ddo. We had a message yesterday. Gaethon ni neges ddo.
You also looked at creating negative sentences. A sentence like Casey to negative would take an aspirate mutation. Ches I ddim, I didn't have. Ches I ddim post ddoe. I didn't have post yesterday. Ches I ddim post ddoe.
Beth yw I didn't have chocolate yesterday? Ches I ddim siocled ddo. I didn't have chocolate yesterday. Ches I ddim siocled ddo.
Many people in South Wales use Gacy in speech for statements, questions, and negative sentences. So you may very well hear people using ges I ddim.
Ges I ddim coffi y bore yma.
Congratulations! So far you have done 2 irregular short form past tense verbs. You did es I, I went, an uned deg, which comes from mynd, and now ges I had, which comes from cael. Can you hear the similarities between them? We have taken es I and added a g to mean I had, ges I. You can do this to talk about anyone.
For example, you went, ti, es ti. If we want to say you had tea, we can add a g to es ti. So you had ges ti. Let's try a few others.
He went, aeth e. What about he had? Gaeth e. He had a cuppa. Gaeth e baned.
She went, aeth hi. What about she had? Gaeth hi. She had a cake. Gaeth hi deisen o gaeth hi gacen.
Gacen siocled?
Wrth gwrs.
We went, aethon ni. Beth am we had? Gaethon ni. We had an email. Gaethon ni e-bost.
You went, chi, aethoch chi. Beth am you had? Gaethoch chi. Did you have an email? Gaethoch chi e-bost?
They went, aethon nhw. Beth am they had? Gaethon nhw. They had a curry. Gaethon nhw gyrru. That's it for Uned 11. We've looked at saying you've had things, ges I, as well as others had things, gaeth e, gaeth hi. Gwych. We hope to see you in Uned 12, where we'll be going over saying what you and others have. Hwyl am y tro!
Bargen, bargeinion. Bisged, bisgedi. Brechdan, brechdanau. Esgid, esgidiau. Moronen, moron. Neges, negeseion. Taten, tatus. Torth, torthau. Afal, afalau. Bara, cawl. Chwaraeon, ffrwyth, ffrwythau. Haul, jam, lemon, lemonau. Llysiau, llythyr, llythyrau. Peiriant, peiriannau. Salad, sydd, tomato, tomatoes. Uwd, wy, wyau. Angen, gwerthu, parcio. Anodd, poeth. Dim byd, gormod, popeth, trwy.